The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Tuesday episode. I'm losing track of my days. Tuesday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Brought to you by that logo in the top right corner, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you. We do the same here on this show every single day. We have a good one planned. It's soccer fans today. You're going to love it. You're going to love this show. We have two of our soccer experts that have been killing it in soccer coverage. Luke Davis is right there. CJ Bacco that might be having some issues. He just popped out for a minute. But Luke, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Let's talk about some soccer. You know, you are a former Salem soccer player. So let's first talk about Salem and kind of some of the things you've been seeing. I know I interviewed Camden earlier this year. Camden Sampson, one of their many senior captains. Salem has been putting together a really strong season. What have you seen from Salem? We'll start with the boys side, then we'll go to the girls side.
Yeah, I mean, so far we've been playing very well. I think our defense really captivates everything. Led by junior goalkeeper Colin Risen. He's a big part of our success. Not letting in many goals this year. And then on the other side, the attacking part, Lance Bailey, a player to watch this year, has been playing very well, along with also Cade Pasco. He's been one of our speedier guys. He puts a big difference on our offense.
When you think of things that Salem does so well, and they've been doing well for a while, we'll bring CJ back in. What are some keys to their success? Obviously, you just went through some really key players, but they've had continued success over the last several years. What do you think is in that program that is allowing them to succeed year after year after year?
I mean, I think a lot of it's just the mentality we have to get on teams quickly, able to keep the pressure high, as well as our coaching staff. They are very relentless in our trainings. They make sure that we are ready to go in, day out, and our focus is just next game ahead.
All right, let's switch over to the girls' side, Luke. Obviously, we have to start with talking about Riley Hutton, who just broke the program record for goals in her career, 108 in counting. Actually, she just had 5 for the weekend, so I think it's at like 113 in counting now. What makes Riley so hard to defend? Obviously, other than her unbelievable speed that we all know about.
I mean, other than her speed, I think it's also just her teammates making sure to find passes for her. Riley makes exceptional runs all the time, but at the same time also able to check into the game, receive the ball, play it, distribute. Just she's always moving off the ball.
Yeah, and Salem, they haven't had all the results they've won on the girls' side this year yet, but they're still finding ways to grow every game. It seems like they're getting better and better. What have you seen from the Salem girls team that makes you confident, despite not having all the results they want so far, that they can still make a run deep in the tournament like they usually do?
I mean, I think a lot of it is also their youth they have. They have a lot of great sophomores, a few juniors on there who are able to contribute just as much. And I think they'll be able to kind of pull the team together later in the season and just give them a little advantage and jump in that boost.
All right, we bring CJ Bacco into the conversation. He's been covering soccer for us like crazy. CJ, I want to talk to you about the games you were at last night, champion senior night. You said 15 seniors between the boys and the girls. There are a lot of seniors on the champions program, but the girls' side had a milestone as well as Taylor Kuhn broke the record for career assists for champion. She's been an amazing player. She also scored 5 goals, one of the best we have in the YSN family. CJ, what have you seen from the champion side? We'll start with the boys and what they do well and some of the things that leads to their success.
Well, the boys, they have a lot of speed on defense. They play a 4-back set, and it really helps because they have the 2 players that stand out to me the most would be Jake Andretta, the center back, and then Caden Thomas, the center back for champion. There's a lot of times a team that they go up against will just try to dump and run and play through balls down the side, and that does not work against champions defense because of the speed that they have back there. So, and then up front, they have a very talented midfielder. He might even be a winger, Aiden Wright. Possesses the ball very well, looks, distributes. Is a great dribbler on the ball. And I think in the game last night, he had a 1 goal and 2 assists. So as they won 5-0 over Brookfield last night. So
Taylor Kuhn had a big night on the girls' side. We'll hear from her later on the show. We have a player profile in the can that we're going to play on the show live a little bit later. We've seen Taylor as a great player for years. It's not just a breakout season for her. CJ, you've had the chance to call a couple of her games already this season. What makes her such a great soccer player?
Well, I mean, it's just the understanding and fundamentals. I mean, frankly, one, she does have great speed off the ball. It's hard for a lot of people to counteract that. But it's just she's one of like the smartest soccer players I've ever seen personally. Just knows when to pass. While she is a good dribbler, she doesn't always go to that. And she's really unpredictable, which actually what makes her so good. She can beat you with skill. She can beat you with passing. And it's just tough. She usually likes to bend down the sideline. And from there, she can beat you in a number of ways, whether dribbling into the center or crossing it. So really just her being unpredictable in a lot of different aspects of the game is what makes her so good as a player.
You talk about the passing, and she obviously got the career assist record last night. How good of a passer is she? I mean, like let's put it in the not able to watch, like still 1 to 10. How good of a passer are we talking for Taylor Kuhn?
I don't like to give anyone a perfect rating, but I mean she's pretty close. I mean she possesses great vision. I mean I'd give her about like an 8-9 maybe, but she's just constantly looking for her teammates. Even though she scored 5 yesterday, there is probably a couple more assists she could have. She likes to cross like down the wing as well. But yeah, no, she's constantly looking for throughs, and she's really runs a lot of give and goes with her teammates, and she has really nice vision. So
CJ is stingy with the perfect 10s. Won't give it out to people. You gotta be awesome to get a perfect 10. Guys, I want to take this back to a broad thing. We'll go to the boys' side. Some of the teams that have been playing so well this season. We'll start with Warren JFK. 6-0-2. Last week, the big win over Cardinal Mooney for the first time in a long time. Luke, we'll start with you. What kind of things have you seen from Warren JFK this year?
I mean, I think so far they've been playing very well. Obviously, Mooney, one of the better teams in our area, but to be the best, you have to beat the best. And I think that's exactly what they did against Mooney. Nick Ryan's been playing very well recently. I'm very impressed by him.
And CJ, I think you were on the call for that Mooney game.
I was.
What kind of momentum can that give a team? I mean, they hadn't beaten Mooney in so long. They get that win, and they're still undefeated on the season. They do have 2 draws, but they're 6-0-2. What kind of momentum do you think that gives the Eagles?
Oh, I mean, it's huge to get that win. Probably the toughest team they're going to face. I mean, they got United left, which is probably it's going to be a good game, but that's probably the toughest team they're going to face in their entire schedule. And for them to come out, it was a very close game throughout. There's only 1-0 at half. Goal coming off of actually like a 40-yard set piece from Littler, I think right back of the Eagles. He just kind of kicked the ball up, and the Eagles crashed the box. And that scared the goalkeeper, actually, from Mooney. He kind of panicked, and the ball just went over his head completely untouched. So it was a goal, and they went into the half 1-0. And then the second half, Mooney came out, tied it, and then the Eagles got another goal from Nick Ryan with about, I think, 20 minutes left in the game to make it 2-1. Then with 10 minutes left in the game, pretty sure Alvarez from Mooney got another goal back to make it 2-2. And then with 3 minutes left in the game off of a corner kick from Littler, there's a ball bouncing at the top of the box, and Luke Rapika came in and on the volley, one of the nicest shots I've seen this season by far, hits the ball on the volley, upper 90s, nothing the keeper could do, and they ended up winning that game 3-2. So very good game.
All right, let's move on to the team they beat. Mooney is still a power in this area, and you can't take no credit away from that. 4-1-3 on the season. Mooney's always good. Like Mooney's always going to make a deep run in the tournament. What kind of things do you guys think make Mooney consistent? We'll start with CJ first, and we'll go to Luke this time.
All right. Well, when I first found out about Mooney, I was a junior in soccer, and I went to Matthews, and we won the NAC for the first time. We went 16-1, and we were the 4 seed in our area, and we had to play an actually underseeded Mooney team in the first round of the playoffs, and they beat us 6-0 in the first round, and it's because they just pass the ball so well. They will kill you with possession. I mean, they're moving constantly. They play great team defense. It's so hard to even connect passes against them because you go to dribble and there's 3 people on you and you panic. So they're very well coached, great fundamentals, and it's just they play very well as a team. So.
Luke, what about from your side? I know you've been in the world of soccer for a while. You know what Mooney's all about. What do you see from the Cardinals?
It's definitely Mooney's going to struggle a little bit with that setback of losing Nick Pergibbon, one of their better players they have. But I think they're still going to be all right. They have junior Aiden Harib, one of the better players in our area, in my opinion. Oh, he's a winger out there. He's able to just push the ball down the byline, plays it right back in the box. I think if Mooney just keeps doing what they're doing, they're going to be all right.
How about this, guys? They lose Nick Pregomon, but they still are able to go and tie Ottawa Hills, who is a state powerhouse. So to be able to do that without him tells you how well-rounded this team is. And if they get him back, I don't know what the chances of that are, but that tells you how much of a boost that will give him towards the end of the season. This week, Mooney has Ella tonight, but then they have a big one against Beechwood later on in the week. So Ella's got a losing record. We kind of expect them to go and take care of business there, but Beechwood, a very tough soccer team. Mooney would love to go 2-0 this week, but that'll definitely be tough. Let's go to Hubbard. Hubbard's 4-2-2 on the season. A little bit of a surprise in the NE8. A lot of people think Poland South Range are kind of the dominating teams in that NE8 conference, but Hubbard has really played both of those teams tough. They have the tie with Girard 1-1. They've also tied with South Range. They play a conservative game that keeps them in games. CJ, we'll start with you. What kind of benefit does Hubbard playing that kind of conservative? You're not going to take a lot of chances, but you're also not going to give up too much. What does that do for a team like the Eagles who are trying to kind of be a surprise this year in the soccer world?
Well, frankly, if they're playing more defensive, you can't beat a team if you score no goals. So it's just, that's kind of smart by them. I've actually haven't been to any Hubbard soccer games, so I can't really comment on that. But if their defense is actually playing like that, kudos to them. So.
Luke, what are your thoughts on Hubbard and some of the things that they can do for their rest of their season?
I've seen Hubbard a few times this season so far, and again, just as he was saying, their defense is shut down. This week they have Poland, who tied us 0-0. I think that would be a very good test for both teams to kind of see where we are at, see if Poland can break Hubbard's defense.
It's going to be a long week for Hubbard because not only do they have Poland Lakeview, they also have D1 Strongsville to close out the week. So it's going to be a tough week for the Eagles, but they'll be able to prove a lot of people that they are for real if they can come out of this week with a good record. Someone that we have to talk about as well, Canfield 3-1-3. Mike Bailey still leading this Canfield team, and they have some great leaders, and they also had that big win over Howland last week. Howland's the monster, Mike, right? Howland's the big bad wolf in soccer in the area. They've won a state championship. They've been to a lot of state championships. To beat Howland, what does that do for a team's confidence? We'll start with Luke this time.
Beating Howland is a great confidence booster. Just knowing how good that team is to knock them off, I think that gives a lot of confidence, especially Canfield this week playing Boardman and Fitch. They're going to need that momentum there. Fitch obviously coming off a great win as well. I think that's going to be really big for them.
CJ, what do I think, were you on that Howland Canfield game? No, I think Matt Marr was on that Howland.
No,
which one?
Yeah, I was on the Howland Canfield
You were
game.
on it. Okay, so you saw it firsthand. What did the Cardinals do to beat the Tigers?
I mean, their defense was just amazing the entire game. I mean, so an impact player that I've always been keeping an eye on for Howland is Caleb Rose. He's a very good winger. And they absolutely shut him and Howland down. Like, it was just crazy. The defense from them was nuts. And then scoreless first half, which is kind of surprising because I was told that Canfield likes to play more of an attacking style, but they have trouble closing out the games in the second half. That was not the case in this game at all. They played strong throughout the entire game. They scored second half off of a 20-yard free kick. Very nice ball. It hit the top of the crossbar and down. The ball went down right in, and nothing the keeper could do. Unsavable shot. And they went one. They're up 1-0. Howland just kept trying to press and score and press, and Canfield just with about, I think there was 2 minutes left, they finally clear the ball out, and they had everyone back on defense. So there was only one striker up top. He ends up getting past the defense and getting fouled for a penalty, and they ended up scoring a penalty kick with like a minute 30 seconds left to put them up 2-0. And at that point, Howland, it's hard to score two in a minute. So just a very great defensive performance as they win 2-0 over Howland. So
that was the first conference loss for the Tigers since 2018 when Boardman beat them. So impressive. I think they were tied by Boardman a couple of years ago. That was a big game, but haven't lost since 2018. But they're still 4-1-3, and they're still a powerhouse. I know Coach Stills over there isn't hitting the panic button. Let's talk about Howland before we wrap up this boys' side. What makes you think Howland is still okay and still can be one of those teams that makes a deep tournament run? CJ, we'll start with you.
So while Canfield did play fantastic defense, something that I noticed, only game I covered from Howland is kind of like a team like Mooney, in my opinion. They play a lot of possession, and they like to they were getting a lot of shots. Granted, some of them, Canfield was forcing them to take them a little bit farther out than they wanted to, but there were some times where they could have had a goal or so, but they just miscommunicated or something happened. So Howland, I mean, while they did score no goals, I mean, they still looked very good. And then on defense, I mean, like I said, they held Canfield scoreless, who is a very good offensive team as well, in the first half, and then 20 minutes through the second half as well. So obviously Howland is still a very, very good team. So I don't think there's anything to panic about.
Yeah, I don't think Howland's in a panic. Luke, what are your thoughts on Howland real quick?
I mean, I think history talks. If they haven't lost a game since 2018, I think one minor setback isn't going to hurt them that much. If you have so much momentum for years, I think that confidence will start to build for you guys of even if it's one setback, you're still going to be all right.
All right, let's venture over to the girls' side of soccer and talk about some of these teams that have played so well. We'll start with the Canfield girls, 7-0-1. They have what we think might be the best girls soccer player, maybe the best soccer player in the area in Macy Toporser. What a great talent. Luke, you're nodding, you know it. We'll start with you. You've seen Macy play. I mean, she's going to go to Purdue Fort Wayne. She's going to be a Division I talent. What makes her so good?
I mean, I think she's overall one of the best player in the area. I think just her ability to move the ball, play off the ball. Obviously, we saw it against Salem. She just did everything for that Canfield offense, put pressure on everyone. I think she really changed the game when she plays against Salem, or anyone for that matter.
CJ, what about you? What are your thoughts on Macy?
I actually haven't been able to go to a Canfield girls soccer game, unfortunately, but I mean, I constantly see in the group chat like how she's going off every single game. So I mean, all I know is, like I said, I can't really comment too much on it, but for a player to be that dominant, I mean, she has to be doing a lot of things well. So
don't forget, they also have another D1 commit on their team in Hannah Wahib, who is going to go to Youngstown State to play soccer. So those two will be rivals in college, with Purdue Fort Wayne and Youngstown State both being in the Horizon League, but they're teammates now, and they're trying to complete a very impressive season, 7-0-1 on the year. Another 7-win team that is undefeated, West Branch. West Branch has Chloe Dennison. West Branch has a lot of power. They obviously have Sophia Gregory, who we all know from the basketball court, but is also a very good athlete on the soccer field. Luke, I know it hurts to talk about West Branch, but we got to do it because their girls are just so good. What do you see out of the West Branch girls this year?
Well, you were touching on that 7-0-2. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they lost last night to Louisville.
Right.
I think I remember seeing
The
that.
record I was looking at hadn't been updated from last night, but they did lose 2-1 to Louisville. Good catch.
But still, their defense is phenomenal. They have Zoe Sanders in goal. She's one of the best in the area. I think only 9 goals conceded all year. Just West Branch, again, is another team that will not let you score. That they'll play that low game of we'll win 1-2-0 just as long as you don't score.
Zoe Sanders also has the program record for career shutouts with 20 and counting now. CJ, do you have any thoughts on the West Branch girls?
So, also haven't been to one of those games yet, but I didn't see that. I covered Niles, and I know Niles girls are a pretty good soccer program over there. And I saw that West Branch is actually one of Niles only's losses this year. So, I mean, yeah, I didn't really understand how good they were, but I mean, if you guys are saying 20 shutouts, I mean, that is insane. So,
CJ, I know this is someone that you know well. We already talked about Taylor Kuhn, but let's talk about Champion as a whole. They're 8-0-0. Is there anybody left on their schedule that you think can even try to knock off the Flashes? They already beat Brookfield last night handedly. They have Garfield on the 20th. I know those are both teams that on paper they should beat. They're dominating the MVAC. They're going for their first conference championship. This league is usually run by Springfield or Waterloo. Champion making a run at it this year. Do you think anyone can knock off the Flashes this season?
honestly, I mean, I've covered a lot of champion games. It'll take a lot to beat the Flashes. I'm not trying to sound biased or anything, but I don't personally think anyone can beat them. At least right now, they are super hot, and obviously Taylor is a great player, but it's not just her. I mean, it's the fact that they have young talent, and they have a very good forward, Maylee Nadoud, and her sister. She's a senior, Mia Nadoud, also very good players. Then they have Grayson Nowski, who's always scoring goals as well. One of Taylor's favorite targets. She's, I think, the forward for him. And they have Savannah Lefkowitz, who just kind of controls the ball in the midfield. I mean, they just have like a ton of good players. They have help off the bench. I mean, it's tough to beat a team that's just all around that good. So,
all right, CJ, put your coach's hat on because you said it's going to be really tough to beat them. If you were a soccer team, let's say you had at least the talent to contend with them, what kind of things would you try to be doing to slow down Champion?
well, first for me, I would run a 4-back set. I'd run a sweeper, and I would just shade them over because obviously Taylor would be the person I would try to shut down. I would shade the sweeper over to her side, have 2 on her, and eliminate the through ball for that. Make somebody else, even though they have a lot of talent, make somebody else beat my defense. And then one thing that I could say that they could improve on is I haven't really seen a team get a lot of shots off against Champion. While I would have the 4 in the back, I would also just try to put like my fastest player up top because I noticed that the defense doesn't really have as much speed as the offense for Champion. And I would just take shots outside the box, take any shot I can get, and really try to test that keeper. So
on the girls' side, we'll move to Howland, who almost got that win over Canfield. It was a very close game. The Tigers are very good. Ava Yanucci, in her own right, a very good player. We all know that. CJ, you're nodding your head. I'll let you lead off this one. What have you seen from the Tigers? They are 6-2-2 on the season so far.
So obviously, I mean, Ava Yanucci gets a lot of credit because I mean she is just really good as a soccer player. And but something I've noticed from the Tigers is they have a lot of speed up on that offense. They have a girl, Imogen Du Bois, who's a track star over there at Howland, and she is just super fast. She does really well. They have another senior, Katie Paisley, who's also very good. So I mean, they have a lot of speed up front, and that definitely helps. So.
They have a big one tomorrow with Poland. Luke, I'll go to you. When Poland, they're starting to get healthy. You know, they had a couple of injuries early. This Poland team starting to get healthy. Maybe a couple of weeks ago, Howland could beat Poland pretty easily. This is going to be a tougher one if they have more players in the field. What's Poland's chances against the Tigers tomorrow?
I mean, I haven't had the chance to watch many Howland games, but again, 6-2-2 speaks for itself. I think Howland has to just play very good defense against Poland. Make sure to just shut down, play their game. That's the big part about it. Just calm down, play what you have to do, and just be yourself.
All right, our last girls team that we're going to talk about today is Boardman. They are 6-4-0 on the season, and they get Sarah Blasco back from injury, and she has really played very well since coming back. Boardman's starting to get a little bit of momentum. Luke, we'll start with you. When you get a big player back from an injury, whether you're talking boys or girls side, that's got to be a boost for you to go through the rest of the season.
Definitely. I think just the momentum that you get back, knowing that one of your better players is back, having that confidence that they're back on the field again, I think definitely relieves relieves the tension that some people have when they're out rather than when they're on the field.
And you can see that in their last 3 games, they're on a 3-game winning streak, and they've beaten teams by a combined 11 goals. They are on a run. This week they have they have Canfield last night. Canfield beat them, but they have Harding tomorrow. Harding a little bit more of a way that they can go 1-1. That's a team that Boardman has historically beaten. So what do you think? You have to bounce back from a tough loss to a very good Canfield team, of course. How do you do that? How do you keep going if you're Boardman? CJ will go to you.
So honestly, I mean, one loss obviously doesn't define a season, especially if they're playing so well. Like I was saying, my junior year when we went 16-1, we actually started off that year with a loss the first game because we didn't have one of our star players. So I completely understand where Boardman's coming from, but I mean, if they can bounce back, keep going on a little bit of a hot streak here, they'll really start impressing some people. So
here's the key to that victory for Canfield. They outshot Boardman 25-2. But that being said, they only won 4-1. So Boardman obviously played some good defense in the net to stop Canfield from blowing that game out of the water. So that'll do it for the teams. Let's talk about some players that you guys are watching to the second half of the season. Who has caught your eye in both of your coverages? Who are some players that you think people should watch? Luke, I'll start with you.
I mean, I think not to toot my own horn, but I think Kaylee Carlisle is one of the better goalkeepers you'll see in the area. She's played very well, regardless of the 23 goals she's given up. She's made countless saves. She had 16 against Canfield alone. She's really impressed me so far, and I've enjoyed covering her a lot. I think also kind of looking at this, again, Ava Paris from Canfield. Watching against Salem, she's played very well this year. Also going to YSU. I think she's been very fun to watch this year. And I'm going to finish it out kind of in the EBC. Sophia Gregory, Bree Thomas, and Chloe Dennison. That trio for West Branch has been very good for them. Just obviously getting the results they want. I'm very impressed for them on the girls' side.
All right, CJ, I'll give you the girls' side. Then we'll go back to Luke to shout out some boys players.
all right. So for the girls' side, obviously, I mean, number one for me, the games I've watched is going to be Taylor Kuhn. And then, like I said, another very good player would be Mia Nadal for them and Savannah Lefkowitz. So that's 3 from Champion. Then I have 1 from JFK. She's just a freshman. She is going to be very good in the upcoming years. Andrea Ryan, it's actually Nick and Dom Ryan's sister. She is very good. She is so fast. And she was giving Champion a lot of trouble. While the Champion won 2-1, I mean, Andrea probably had like 5 1v1s, but just her speed and skill alone, she is a very good soccer player. So,
part of that Ryan family, that's all you need to know. We'll go back to the boys' side. Luke, who are some boys players that you're watching and you've been really impressed with?
Kind of just looking all around the area, I think, Anthony, you and I were talking about earlier about SVA. You look at some of the top players in the area, Drew Snyder, Aiden Harib, Gage Sidoris, Anthony Ruggles, Ben Martinez. They all play on the same team for SVA. And I think they've all played very well this year, just showing out in their own rights for their own teams, playing together, just getting the results they want. As well as, I think we have to talk about Maddox Andrea, one of the better D3 players we have in the area, obviously in the state as well. I've been really impressed by him. I actually had the privilege to play against him this year, and just watching him off the ball, on the ball, leading United to a very good season so far. I think they have a really good chance to go far in this playoffs as well.
CJ, who are some boys that you're watching and you've been impressed with?
So I also have a team that I'm also going to list 3 players from. It's going to be JFK from the boys' side. So obviously, number 1, I'm going to go with Nick Ryan, just very, very talented. Then we have their center mid, Luke Rapika, the one that actually hit that game-winning shot. I watched them against Champion, the home opener. I think he had 2 goals and 2 assists. He's constantly moving, constantly looking, very good player. And then someone that I feel like defense and goalkeepers don't really get that much recognition. But I mean, I have to shout out Nico Siriano, I think is how you pronounce his name, the goalkeeper for JFK. He is so tough. There was times in that JFK Mooney game that I was watching that I would be like, oh, okay, Mooney's for sure going to have this goal. And he would just come out with just fantastic save after fantastic save. That guy is just so good in the net. So,
all right, let's end this up with just some final thoughts about soccer going forward. Obviously, we have another half of the season to go. So, what do you think are the key to some of these teams that we've been talking about to finish strong and make deep tournament runs? What do you think are some things that teams should really have to do in these last couple of weeks? Since Luke's having a little bit of issue, we'll go to CJ.
All right. Honestly, for the boys' side, I'm gonna start out with, because I covered JFK the most. I'm gonna start out with, while they haven't lost a game yet, and I don't think besides United, I don't think that there's gonna be a team that has the talent that they do that can even pose a threat to them. Can't get big-headed here. You got to finish out the season strong, and then, especially what's gonna be big for them is what I found out this year is Mooney moved up from D3 in the playoffs, so they're, I guess, the D2 team. So I honestly think that JFK is easily the best D3 team here in our area, at least. So I think that they can pose a big tournament run. Granted, everyone stays healthy. Everyone keeps playing the way they're doing. And for girls, let's see here. Who did I cover? Well, obviously Champion, kind of the same thing. They're also undefeated as well. And as long as – I feel like Lakeview is going to give them a challenge, because obviously Lakeview, 2-1 game. Well, no, 1-0 game. And then the JFK team could also, for the girls, is also pretty good, could give them a challenge. So Champion, while I think that they're really good, they're going to have a problem here in the playoffs once they get in the deeper rounds. But I think they'll be good games. So
Can't sleep on Sophia Diorio and Mooney either in Division 3. They're still Division 3, right? Mooney girls? I don't remember.
I'm not sure. The Mooney
We'll
girls.
have to check on that. I know they're having one of those seasons where, and Mooney's always sneaky.
Yeah.
CJ, I want to thank you and Luke, who had to hop off because of some technical issues. I want to thank you both for the time talking soccer. We know you guys love it here. We'll pop him in for this wrap up if he pops on. Let's see if he can. He's still got that circle of death. Oh, there he is.
Yep,
we got him.
Right.
So I want to thank you both for hopping
There we
on.
go.
This was fun. We're definitely going to do it again before the end of the soccer season. We'll come back on maybe before tournaments start and give like a season recap and give a tournament preview. This was so fun, you guys. Thank you both for the time, and we appreciate it. And I think you're both going to be calling soccer tonight, so enjoy the night, and make sure to tune in, you guys, to ysnlive.com/live for all the games. Boys, we'll see you soon.
All right. I'll see you, Anthony.
Yeah.
CJ Bako and Luke Davis, our soccer gurus, our soccer panel, joining us today. That was such a fun experience to dive into soccer. We think soccer doesn't get nearly enough pub. Our friends at Steel Valley Soccer do that really well. By the way, we got those teams to talk about straight off their power rankings because they're doing it so well. So they teed us up, and we just let it go with great soccer personalities that we've been able to get on YSN. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have a player profile to feature with Taylor Kuhn of Champion. Don't go anywhere on Running Point. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet.
Sheely's is more than a furniture store. We're a hub for all of your appliance needs. We offer the widest selection at everyday low prices, with over $1 million of in-stock inventory from Whirlpool, KitchenAid, LG, GE, and more. Our knowledgeable, no-pressure sales staff can help you find the perfect appliances for your home. We're there for you beyond your purchase to service what we sell and offer free local delivery with 24-month special financing. Sheely's, the best things in life happen at home.
House troubles can attack anytime. When trouble strikes, call Mighty Mike. Your hometown hero is on his way. HVAC causing havoc? Has your furnace gone mad? Mighty Mike Heating and Cooling will save the day. Commercial or residential, 24/7. For quality service you can depend on, call your hometown hero. Call Mighty Mike.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
Welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com. As always, we are brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We thank them every day for their constant support and sponsorship of this show. Without further ado, we have a player profile to get to. Let's feature this interview with Taylor Kuhn, one of the great players the champion has, sporting their 8-0 record, and she's a big reason why. She just became the new leader in career assists last night with the 2 that she got against Brookfield. So a very exciting soccer player, very good interview with Taylor. So let's hear that here on Running Point. Anthony Hartwig here with a champion girls soccer player profile. I am joined by senior Taylor Kuhn. Taylor, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, of course.
First thing we ask all seniors, of course, is the emotions and the mental strain that senior year can definitely bring you. You're going through a lot of last home games, last time against this opponent, last first game. How do you handle all these emotions that senior year can bring?
I would say just staying positive and trying not to look at the end, because obviously any game can be your last, but we just want to make it as far as possible and just not trying to look at the end yet, just enjoying every minute on the field as you can.
Has it hit you yet that it's your senior season and this is the last, or are you just trying to not let that reality set in?
Yeah, it hasn't hit quite yet, but when tournaments come around, it's probably going to hit a little bit. But
talking about hitting, I mean, obviously you're going to be having a senior night in the near future. What do you think that's going to be like for you? You've seen a lot of other seniors go through it. You've been able to give a lot of other seniors great senior nights, but now it's your turn. What are some things that you think are going to be going through your head on that night?
I would say it's going to be an exciting day, just having all my teammates around us and getting to enjoy it with all my other seniors. And I know some of the seniors from the past few seasons are coming back to come see us, so it'll be good seeing them and just being surrounded by my positive teammates and hopefully coming out with a win that day.
You have been a shining star in the soccer world for a while. This is not like you're coming out of nowhere, but a senior year brings a little bit more leadership and a little bit more responsibilities on your plate. How have you handled kind of going into even more on your shoulders as far as leadership is concerned on this team?
I would say just keeping my team positive and uplifting comments. I try to set up a bunch of team bonding exercises outside of practice with the other captains and seniors, and just trying to get the team as connected as possible, bringing the freshmen up and being super welcoming and just making it feel like a home and a family on the team.
What has been your favorite team bonding exercise that you've been able to have with this program over the last 4 years?
I would have to say this year we did a little camping sleepover outside and a driving scavenger hunt, which was super fun, and just spending the night with my teammates, and we made little locker posters, which were super cute, and just being able to spend time with them.
All right, so this senior season is going pretty dang well for you so far. Champion is 7-0. They've beaten all their conference opponents so far. You're trying to get your first conference championship. What's it feel like to have the success you're having so far this season?
It's a really nice feeling, because last year we lost in district semis, which wasn't the outcome we wanted, and then the year before we got out in first round. But we're hoping this year to make it to districts and bring home the win. So
I mean, you keep racking up wins. What is it that's keeping this team motivated and not having that one game where you start to, that layover game after a lot of wins? What is keeping this team grinding every day, even with all the success you're having?
I would say our coach is really helpful because she always pushes us to like keep working harder and just like not settling down on like the good wins or like those easy wins we get or anything like that. Just keeping us pushing and staying on our toes for the next opponent.
You're our first interview this year for Champion Girls Soccer, so I want you to take us inside the team personality and what it's like being a part of this group, and what do you think makes this soccer team unique than ones that you've been on in the past?
Our team is definitely very silly. Everybody is always laughing all the time. We try to make practice like as fun as possible, but also being serious at the same time. Everybody's always laughing. We're always cracking jokes and dancing on the field. So everybody's pretty happy on the team, I'd say. And it's just a fun environment to be in, like on practices and after games, before the games, just getting everybody hyped.
With a group of so many silly teammates, like who's the most silly? Like who's the one that no matter what the situation is, they're going to crack a joke and they're going to break that ice?
I gotta say either Mia, Nadal, or Grayson, or even Savannah. Everybody's pretty funny, but usually when the team is down, like Mia's usually one to bring us a joke and keep everybody pushing and working hard.
We talked about the team goals that obviously you've set. You want to get further in the tournament than you've gotten before. You want to punch that district championship as a team. What about yourself? Some personal goals that you set before this senior season started, some things that you wanted to accomplish before your career was over at Champion?
I think my biggest goal for me personally is breaking a record. Right now, I'm 2 assists away from breaking the school assist record, and I think I have to get like 29 goals this season to break the career goal, but those are just some goals for myself. But
You are well on your way. 2 assists away from breaking a record. So I want to talk because that's going to happen. Let's just be real. 2 assists is nothing to you. When that does happen, we're going to speak it into fruition. So when it does happen, what will that mean to you to have your name kind of etched in the champion record book for forever?
it'll make me feel good, honestly, because like the assists that I'm given are to help my teammates score goals and like help us win in the game. So I feel like the assist one's super important to me because like my SVA coach always told me like assists are better than goals because they're the ones that like start all the process of scoring and stuff. So it'll be a good feeling for sure.
All this record-breaking assists and goals and the talent you have definitely doesn't happen overnight. You have put a lot of time into this sport. What is your driving force? What keeps you working so hard throughout your whole career? What is the one thing that motivates you the most?
I'd say probably my parents. They always keep pushing me to work harder and they keep me like uplifted and even like on like the bad days with games and stuff, like they always find a way to like make me feel better about the game, like pointing out the positives and then also pointing out the negatives to help me like learn for the future.
You got to love the sport to put as much time as you do into it. What is it about soccer that made you fall in love with it?
I'd say it's like the constant like mental and like physicality of it. Like I love like the aggression of the sport and like dribbling to goal is like the best feeling and then like celebrating with your teammates. Like I don't know. This sport just gives me like a good feeling every time I play.
One of the many things that makes soccer unique is that you can't get a timeout from coach when something's not going right and try to fix it real quick in a huddle. There's none of that in soccer. You either have to fix it in halftime or fix it on the fly. When something might not be going quite right on the field, maybe in the first couple minutes of a game, or you have that like 10-minute stretch where nothing's really going the way you want it to, what kind of things do you do to self-correct without having to call that timeout, obviously?
I usually just try and talk to my team and like tell everybody like just take a breath, like sometimes you just got to inhale, exhale, and just breathe and just calm down and like enjoy the pressure and yeah.
We talked about your senior leadership and the things that you've been doing this year. Who are some seniors of the past that taught you how to be a leader and that you can credit your leadership abilities to?
There's definitely a lot of them, but I'd say a few. Like from my freshman year, we had Maddie Haynes and Emma Gumont and Katie Katratis and Emily Beach, and just all of those seniors were like super like good at teaching us like how to become like a proper high school player and becoming a leader on the field. And like that's how we got to where we are today. And I'd say like from last year, like we had our captains Emma Kuhn and Maddie Fell, which were super great captains and like taught us how to do what we're supposed to do now.
When we talk champion athletics, especially on the girls' side, there's a standard for excellence. You know, the softball team on the poster behind you has won 9 state championships. The basketball team's always good. You guys are always in the thick of things. What's it like to be a part of an athletic community in an athletic room where every sport, every athlete is just holding themselves to such a high standard of excellence?
It's good because like being able to like talk to those other athletes and like seeing where their perspective is of like how it feels to like actually have like success as a team, and it's nice just being able to relate to each other and like talk about, even if we're from different sports, it all has like the same like background and idea to it.
What's the community like in Champion? Obviously, they support you so well, but you know, those championships and those successes don't come without the support of the community.
Yeah.
What's so special about the community to you in your perspective?
I feel like everybody in the community is super supportive and uplifting, like for every sport in Champion, like boys and girls, like middle school, high school, like it doesn't matter. I feel like everybody's super supportive and it's just always positive when we're playing.
You get a lot of support on the soccer field. What's your favorite sport to go and be a supporter of in the student section?
I love the football student sections, but I also love watching the girls basketball and watching my friends out there play.
If there's one champion athlete that before they graduate, or let's say before you graduate, that you have to get like an autograph from, you have to get that poster, you have to make sure you get it because you know it's going to be worth something someday. What athlete comes to mind when I ask that?
Probably one of my closest friends, Bella Meyer.
She's a champion, no pun intended. When you think of future plans, we know that you are already committed to play soccer at the next level. For people that don't know or haven't seen the news that you dropped, where are you going to be continuing your soccer career after high school?
Notre Dame College up in Cleveland.
All right. What made that decision easy for you? What was the thing that made Notre Dame the place you wanted to be and the program you wanted to continue into?
Well, there was a past graduate from Champion. Her name's Madison Lockett. She attended NDC, and she kind of told me about it and was like, this is a really good program. It has really good teaching styles, just like the club team that I play for. And it would be like playing for the same team almost. And she said it was a really good environment, and the academics are just as good. They have a really good nursing program, and like I get to do like good clinicals up there at like Cleveland Clinic, and that's probably one of my biggest suits was just being able to have like a good academics career too, not only athletics, but.
You kind of answered my next question for me. You're a professional interviewee. I was going to ask about the academics and what major you were going into. You say nursing. What is it about nursing in that field that made you want to make that your future goals?
I've always been interested in like the medical career and like because I want to go into pediatrics and I love kids. I have so many little cousins and like being around them. So I would say I'm pretty good with kids. So I feel like and like that would be good to go into. But I've always been interested in like the medical perspective and like every time like we learn about it, like I'm always super fascinated in it and just getting to know more and like helping people, obviously.
Now, we know how demanding medical school can be, and we know how demanding college athletics can be. How are you going to juggle that? I mean, obviously you're great at time management. What are some of the game plans and the mental things you're telling yourself for next year and the next 4 years? Like, it's going to be a grind.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's why, like, these past 2 years, I've been trying to take some college classes at school, just trying to get some of that stuff out of the way so it'll make college much easier. But I would say just like taking my time on everything, like focusing on soccer when I'm at soccer, and then focusing on school when I'm at school instead of like trying to think about both at the same time, and just staying calm with that stuff.
Notre Dame is far enough away that you'll have to leave home and you'll have to live on your own down there. What are some things that make you the most nervous about not having the comforts of home anymore?
Yeah, I'd say not having like my mom to like cook me dinner or like help me with my laundry sometimes, or just having like the responsibility of doing all that stuff on my own. But I'm a pretty independent person, so I should be okay with it. But probably on the weekends I'll be coming home to come see my parents. So.
If we asked your mom this, she might have a completely different answer. But from your perspective, what is one thing that your parents do for you at home that you're gonna miss the most when you're not there anymore?
Probably my mom cleaning my soccer bag for me after rainy games.
When you think of post-game meals, especially after a big win, you've had a lot of them this season. What's your favorite thing to put in your stomach after a big win?
Probably Mizu. I love going there with my team.
Snack bags are also really important in high school athletics, something that you'll cherish forever, I'm sure. What teammate's parent makes the best snack bag for you on road games?
I'd have to say Grayson's mom, Mrs. Nosky. All of the boosters members, they always set up like these little snack bags for us, like all the boosters moms, and we get stuff from like B&K Farm Market, and we get sandwiches and like fruit in from them, so that's pretty nice for like long bus rides.
When you're grading a snack bag, what's the one thing that's in there that's going to get a Taylor Kuhn A+ if this is in the snack bag?
Probably Cool Ranch Doritos.
When you think of also teammates, you hang out a lot. Which teammate has the best house to hang out at?
Honestly, all of them. We all bounce out between houses and like between people's houses after practice, or like if we go swimming sometimes, or I don't know who's the best though.
All right, so we've talked about how much time you do spend in soccer, but you also need mental breaks. We all know that. We all know that you have to avoid gassing out. What are some of your favorite things to do outside of the sport when your mind does need that little break from the sport?
This might sound crazy, but my break is honestly probably going to the gym and just trying like doing like different exercises compared to like the soccer ones, like cardio and stuff like that. Like actually like lifting and stuff, or like I always run, which I run a lot, so that's like a good escape from like the mental side of it.
All right, runners always put something in their ear when they're running, whether it be music. Some people listen to podcasts, some people listen to sermons, whatever it may be. What is what are you putting in when you go on a run?
Probably a mix between Drake or Doja Cat. Two opposites, but that's like both of my two I probably listen to the most.
How much do you think you run per week on average?
Well, in soccer games, we probably run like an average of like 5 to 6 miles. So if I have 2 games a week, that's like 12 miles, I'd say, just between 2 games. And then I try to run over the weekend at least like 2 to 4 miles around there. But
is there a difference between your soccer run and your therapeutic kind of I got to get away from life run? Is it a different gait? Is it a different speed? Is it or is it kind of the same?
It's kind of the same a little bit. For like my soccer runs, I try to go to the track and like run like a mile or 2 around the track. But when I'm just running like my neighborhood, and just like I usually go quicker on those ones because like the adrenaline kind of. So
all right, Taylor, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to kind of shout out anyone in your life that supports you that you haven't shouted out already, or you can give people extra shout outs. I don't mind. I just want to give you the time to kind of shine a light on the people that you think deserve it and that support you so much in your career.
I would say obviously my parents, like they show me a ton of support forever. Definitely my friends from school, especially one of my best friends, Bella Ross. I'd have to say my grandma too. She comes to all of my games and shows constant support. I'd say just overall, just friends and family, just always being there after the games to say hi.
All right, Taylor, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it. There's the bell, which means you got more great parts of the school day to go on. But we thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to covering you the rest of your senior season. And we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
That was Taylor Kuhn from Champion, one of the best soccer players we have in the Ysn family, and we talked about her a lot earlier on the show with CJ Bako and Luke Davis. Definitely one of the great stars, and now the new Champion program leader in career assists. She had 2 last night, broke the record, and now she's just going to focus on, winning and trying to make Champion go far in the tournament. She will be continuing her soccer career at Notre Dame College. Let's go over the night on the network before we get out of here. We have plenty of volleyball, plenty of soccer that's going to be broadcasted. We have 6 volleyball games that you can find at ysnlive.com/live tonight. I will be in Boardman as Canfield goes to town in an AAC battle. Chris Sigler is going to be in Beaver Local for East Liverpool versus Beaver Local, the rivalry. Round 2, I believe. Bob Zanny is going to be in Jackson Milton as Middle Ridge comes to town, trying to keep momentum after their really close but not close enough game against Crestview. They played really well, but they just couldn't have enough to beat the Rebels. They fell in 4. We'll talk about that game tomorrow. We'll have some time. Ty Bartell going to be at Campbell as Newton Falls comes to town. And then Springfield will be at McDonald, and Eric Hughes will be there for that one. Also, the school is taking care of the Wellsville versus East Palestine game, so that'll be on the network as well from Wellsville. ysnlive.com/live is where you can find it. Luke Davis, who was just on Running Point earlier, he'll be in Salem for the girls' soccer matchup with Carrollton. And then boys' soccer, we have Lutheran West at Orange. That'll be taken care of by the school. Matt Marr and Jordan Barber are going to be in Canfield as Boardman goes to the Cardinals on the boys' side. And then Zach Svensson will be at Poland as Hubbard travels to the Bulldogs to take on Poland in the NE8. So those are the games that are going to be on the network tonight. We can't wait for it to all to happen. Make sure to tune in. ysnlive.com/live is where you can find it. Tomorrow's show, we're back from 1 to 2. Going to look a little bit different than most Wednesdays. Scotty Mincher, he's at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He won't be in. Brian Tolnar has a couple of meetings that he has to attend, so he won't be in. It'll be just me on a Wednesday, but we'll still have some fun on Running Point. So tune in tomorrow from 1 to 2 on this show, brought to you by Greenwood.